Howdy all, and welcome back to Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Oh man, is my generator out of gas? I think that's what I noticed at the end of last episode. Um, I, uh, I was debating what to do here. I think we're just gonna do a little more prep before the Horde is my plan at the moment. And, I need to go out and get some more gas, it looks like, before that happens. So I'll probably run back into town and get some gas, maybe. Yeah, I thought I might do a little bit of work before I started the. Oh, that only takes 1,000. For some reason, I was thinking it took more than that. I still need to go get some more gas though before we get going here. Get all my lights back on and my traps. All right, let's. We gotta go north, I think. Yep, north. So, yeah, it's been an interestingly busy day on a day that I was. You know what? Let's grab this car right here. On a day oh, look at my wrench is about dead. Oh man, I need to go make a new wrench. Uh, I didn't expect to have anything to do today, and I probably had time to do what I wanted to do, but I didn't take advantage of that time, and so I do have a couple little things I wanted to get to today that didn't happen. I guess I can get to them tomorrow. Oh, and there goes my wrench. Can I just repair it? And but you know, it's one of those days where they're like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna have company all morning and most of the afternoon." Nice. So we had company today, and then once they left, I finally made it to my computer, and then my my sister was like, "Can you do a bunch of this stuff for me on your computer that needs to be done that you know how to do and I don't know how to do?" I hate that because it just means you won't learn it. Not that you can't do it, just that you don't want to. Uh, but yeah, so then I worked on that for a little bit. Got that done for her. And the house looks like it's leaning to the left. And then, ooh, nice. And then I got an email from work. They're like, "Hey, we need this done. We know it's supposed to be your day off, but we got extra stuff to do. Could you work on this for like an hour?" I'm like, fine. So I worked on that for an hour. And then it was like 30 minutes till dinner time. And so I started a game of Frostpunk. And if you haven't seen Frostpunk yet, I really like it. I have yet to succeed, but I really like it. It's a pretty cool city builder. Um, I just made it to, I don't know if I made it not necessarily the end of the game, but probably the end of the game. Not the game, the end of the first scenario. I failed. I absolutely, completely failed. And so, but that's probably like my 12th try. And I honestly just want to go play some more right now. It's pretty fun. Not that I don't enjoy this. I'm enjoying this too. But you know, it's new and shiny, and that really triggers my gaming ADD. And I feel like I just came through here and looted this place of gas not too long ago. Obviously, since all the gas pumps are empty, we'll have to go find a different one. And so it's set in a world where it's in the 1800s. I believe 1887 was mentioned, and you're in. I don't know where you're at. The North Pole, something. I don't know. It starts in like London, and so uh, the sun begins to dim, and pollution has darkened the skies. I guess. Oh, volcanoes. They said volcanoes have darkened the skies, and the sun has begun to dim, and it locks the world into a new ice age. And so they build these giant generators, uh, steam generators, and send them into the wilderness. I don't know why they didn't build them in the city they already had, but they send them into the wilderness and try to. And they're supposed to set up cities for the refugees. They don't supply the refugees with anything, apparently, and so they sent out these giant trains. I call them trains. They look like a giant locomotive, but they go on the ice and snow. They've got like treaded tires instead of going on rails, and so they send them out, and that's where the generators come from. And so your group of people were heading for one of these generators, and a blizzard comes up, and everybody gets separated, and so just a small group of your people make it to the generators. There was a road over there, right? I think I saw a road. That can't be, though, because there's no road here. Yeah, I guess we'll keep going on this and then stick to the right. Go into that other city there and see if we can hit a gas place. So you start, and you've got like 80 people total. Maybe it's 100 people total. Well, that doesn't work out right. 95 people? I don't know. But there are children who eventually grow into workers, and then there's workers, and there's engineers, and so it's a city building game, and so everything's on a grid basically. You got to build within the grid, sort of, and so you got to provide enough shelter for your people. You've got to provide enough food for your people. There's only 3 resources. Well, there's 4 resources, I guess. 3 of them you can create. One of them you have to find, and it's coal, wood, and steel are the 3 you harvest, and then steam cores are found. They cannot be manufactured. They have to be found. And so you start with 1 steam core, and ooh, you know what? Come back, dear. Or die. That works too. It's okay, I don't need your bone. Well, you know what? I do. I prefer the bones to the animal fat, so I can make glue out of your bones. Oh, you know, I probably got a bunch of stuff here I can get rid of. I don't need your leather. I don't need your cloth fragment. I don't need your iron pipes. I don't need your animal hide. I don't need your oil. And So you're like the leader of the town, and you're building the last city on Earth. But everything's covered in snow, and so the generator, you have to harvest coal, and it starts. You can't harvest coal. When it starts, you have to send out workers to pick up coal from coal piles that were left. Nobody's there when you get there. There's just some wrecked steel, some wooden crates, and some piles of coal. And you use those to get started with wood, steel, and coal. And so once you get enough coal, you can start the generator, and the generator works in rings. And so the first ring will heat up around the generator at temperature level 1, which goes down to about negative 20 degrees it can handle. And then as the game progresses, it gets colder and colder, and there are days that are colder, days that are warmer. There's laws you put into place. There's research that you do. Lot of upgrades. So many upgrades, and it's hard to pick what to upgrade, what not to upgrade. I basically just got overwhelmed at the end by the sheer number of. I'm still trying to figure out how to lay out my bases. I think I need to move my buildings that don't require heating out to the outside of the ring so that all my housing can be on the inside. But there are buildings that have like their own heat but require extra heat, and then there are buildings that don't have their own heat, like housing, and so they have to be close to the generator to get warmth. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's steampunk, but in a frozen world, hence the name Frostpunk. I basically got all the way to the point where a giant snowstorm was coming, and I had to survive for 7 days. I don't think I made it 2. That wasn't because I ran out of supplies, though. That's because when the storm hit, I was already in a state of no hope. And when you reach a state of no hope, you have like 2 days before your people kick you out. And every time someone dies, you lose hope. Which sucks because they had saddled me with so many refugees at the end of it that I didn't have any place for them. And that's the one thing I don't like about the game. That's the one thing so far that I think is dumb, is that housing doesn't upgrade. My dog is chasing me. Housing doesn't upgrade how many people fit in it, and I don't like that. And so it cost 10 wood, right, to build. There are no gas stations here. 10 wood to build tents. That's the first level housing. And then you can research bunkhouses. And bunkhouses are like 20 wood, 10 steel. And so they also only hold 10 people. But they have better insulation. And then houses come along. And I'm like, alright, houses. Houses are going to hold. Nope, houses still only hold 10 people. And houses only hold 10 people, but they cost like 50 wood and 20 steel to build. And I didn't get to the level above that. And so it's like you have very limited space. I mean, I didn't use up all the space, but because everything's got to go around in this circle around your generator, you have pretty limited space where you can put housing, because housing doesn't have its own heat. And so the generator has to directly, and I don't mean like the buildings that have to connect to streets which have the steam pipe running through them. I mean like housing has to be within the ring of heat that's generated by just the generator running. And so it's yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that the housing doesn't increase the number of people it holds, because it's so expensive to build those little houses over and over, but they only hold 10 people, and so like the first ring only holds about 100 people, and which sounds like a lot, but there at the end, I think I had close to 500 people, and I could not build enough houses for them. I did not have enough space, and they definitely weren't close enough to the generator to get heat, because I wasn't expecting to be overwhelmed by 70 refugees at a time. I mean, I guess if I knew that was coming, basically though, I think I just need to plan my housing better, and maybe this was the furthest I've ever made it though. I have died before day 20 like 5 times. Day 20 is where it gets harder. First few days it's like -4 degrees, and then it jumps down to -20 degrees. You know, there's some -40 degrees in there. So -20 is level 1 temperature. You have to upgrade your generator, and then you can push out the rings, so then it heats up 2 rings. And then you can also increase the amount of heat it produces, so then it heats up to level 2, which means it can handle up to -40 degree temperature. And then there's level 3 would go up to level 60 degree temperature. Level 3 is as far as I made it. And there's an overdrive ability which pushes up, makes it produce extra heat but causes stress on the generator. And so I'm assuming that the one level 5 upgrade that I did not... Well, there were lots of level 5 upgrades because I only made it to level 5 as the storm was approaching. And but some of those level 5 upgrades were like the highest level heat, the farthest out rings. But I'm pretty sure it was only going to push the ring out 1 more level, so I would have only had 3 rings of... Maybe 4 rings of heat. I think I made it to 3 rings of heat. I don't remember. Anyways, I've been playing that game a lot, and there's at least 3 or 4 scenarios. I've only played the first one. You have to get to day 20 in the previous scenario to unlock the next one. So the first one is the settlement. The second one is you're charged with the responsibility of keeping the seed banks alive during the complete freeze of Earth, apparently. But it's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I just wish housing was done a little differently. Like, can't you guys build an extra layer on your houses? I mean, we're in this crater that protects us from the wind and the blowing snow, so couldn't you just add a story? Clearly the houses do not get as tall. No, that's the thing that happens too, is the bunkhouses look like they're 2 stories, but they just provide more. I'm like, that's crazy, because why would a 2-story bunkhouse with walls, which clearly is going to provide more insulation than my tent without walls. Oh, where did she come from? Maybe she dropped off the top there. I don't know. Look, there's another one. Just appeared out of nowhere. And yeah, so it's really cool. I gotta say, I think it just tickles my steampunk love and my apocalypse love in just the right ways to make me love the game. And then I also picked up BattleTech this week, which is I haven't played it in a couple days. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Frostpunk, mostly because Frostpunk is a little easier to not pay attention to, and also my niece and nephew both came down to see the Frostpunk game randomly today. So before dinner, my niece was down here, and then after dinner, After dinner was my nephew, and he didn't leave until close to 9:30. It is now close to 11:30. Um, and so I was finishing off that game of Frostpunk trying to get to the end, which I did not succeed. And yeah. But BattleTech, I want to say there's some cursing in it that we try to not let the little kids experience too much of that. And so I don't normally talk that way anyways, but so I'm a little leery about letting them see BattleTech, because that one's a little more violent anyways. Not that they're, the stuff they do isn't violent, just I think that game requires too much concentration on my part to succeed in, and so I have not played that with them. Oh man, somebody broke the ladder. I was gonna go up the ladder, but somebody broke the ladder, and I don't think I've got any supplies. I guess I could make a ladder. Could I have like 2 ladders? Thank you. And but that's a turn-based mech game, so you get to pilot mechs. Well, you don't pilot the mechs. You point and click, and they move to where you said to move, and then they fire on the things you tell them to fire on. Pretty decent storyline so far. I've been enjoying the storyline quite a bit in that one. Maybe tomorrow I will get some more time on that. All right. Well, I now have my gas that I wanted to get, so now I need to head back home. My base is pretty much good to go. The only thing I really want to do was maybe add some more lighting underneath the farm. And basically, I debated whether I would do this or I would speed it up and just let it go, and then stop at like noon of Horde day, and then set it to standard speed. So I'll probably do that next time, and then we'll see how my base fares. I've never been here. Huh. I need to come back and explore this place. So then we can try and run through a full evening to like noon the next day of Horde day in a single episode. And that's my plan for next time, to see how my defenses fare. I mean, I know I'll be fine because I'll be up above where it's safe. I wish I had a sniper rifle game, destroying my bags of supplies. Yeah. We also got our Wednesday night D&D game in. Yeah, it was bizarre. I realized today that I actually recorded this in the wrong order, and that I normally record this on Thursday nights, but I recorded ARC on Thursday nights this week. Don't know why. It just happened that way. But it's not the first week I've mixed up the order they go in. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I was pretty tired yesterday, though. We had some extra meetings at work, and so I had to get up earlier than normal, and of course everybody got up earlier and started making a ton of noise while I'm trying to get my last 3 hours of sleep for the morning in. I mean, like, they were playing with the dog, and it was barking constantly for almost 4 hours. Or not constantly, but, every few minutes they got the dog barking again, which wakes me up. And, I only got about 4.5 hours of normal sleep. And I don't do well if I don't get closer to 8, for sure. I need my sleep. I get headaches if I don't get enough sleep. But yeah, so that was what they said today. Was company got here and they brought brunch with them, so they wanted me to get up for brunch. I didn't answer. I did not hear them calling for me. Like, well, we figured you were either asleep or dead, so we just let you be. Thanks. Thanks for checking on me, making sure I'm not dead. Appreciate that. But yeah, so our Wednesday night D&D, we did not finish where we're at. We're in a dungeon. That's pretty much all that's left in the game or in the story, are these 4 dungeons and then the temple underneath of them. And so we're on our second of the 4. And so we'd finished up the previous session in there, and then we skipped a week. And so when we picked up, this is bizarre. We picked up, we're in a room. Not only did we search the room, but the room's not that big. And we took a short rest in that room, which means we were hanging out in that room for like 30 minutes or so, twiddling our thumbs and resting. And and somehow when we got started, our DM is like, alright, so this is where you guys are at, this is what you guys were doing, now go ahead and you know, what do you want your guys to be doing? And I'm like, alright, well, according to this map, the only thing we've got really left to do is, I wonder if I could just continue on here and then head south from here. I'm like, the only thing I can see is going back to that previous bridge. So I grabbed my tokens and I moved them to the bridge because we'd already fought everything in between here and there. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, you asked what we were doing. That's what we're doing. So the other guy moves his token to the bridge. And he's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We've already cleared all these places unless more bad guys have showed up. Just, you know, more bad guys have showed up. I guess you can move it. And so he puts our tokens back. And then pulls out 2 monster tokens and puts them on the board. Because he had missed that there were other monsters in that room the previous week. And he didn't bring them out. And so he said they were standing in the corner where we didn't see them. And I'm just like, that's, what? I mean, they weren't difficult monsters. You know, we killed them quite easily. That wasn't the issue. The issue was, we had already cleared that room, we had searched that room, and somehow we missed 2 large monsters standing in the corner, according to him. You know, I get that it's a game, I get that you're making it up as you go, but I do like things to be to the point where I can understand what's even going on. And this randomly shifting things around on a whim does not allow you to formulate any kind of plan or know what you're trying to do. Half the time he expects us to do things he never gave us the information for because the book says we should have the information, and he didn't give it to us. And then he's like, you guys knew that? I'm like, nope, first time I'm hearing about it. And the other guy's like, yep, it's not in my notes. I didn't hear about it. Well, didn't you talk to that guy? I'm like, what guy? We've never heard that name before. No, when you talk to that other guy, I'm like, that other guy told us that he wouldn't talk to us and told us to get lost. Oh, yeah, that's right. So you didn't get that information. Nope, we sure didn't. So anyway, so we kill those guys. And then he takes our tokens after we kill those guys, and he moves them, not to the point where we placed them before, but all the way across the bridge over to where we could get attacked. Because, in his words, we just crossed the bridge. And we're like, what? No, we weren't gonna... Well, you said you were gonna go across the bridge. I'm like, yeah, but you saw how I moved the tokens down, so we were just at the last place that we had visibly seen? Well, yeah. I'm like, yeah, exactly. The plan was to, uh, you know, sneak across and do some scouting, not just walk straight across. Uh, oh, well, it's too late now. You've been attacked. Thanks. And then later in the evening, I found this gong next to the water. The whole temple is full of water theme because it's the water cultist temple, and so the there's this little gong next to the river, and so I thought maybe it would call a ferryman that could take us across the river because we didn't have a boat. And so we rang the gong, and instead of the ferryman, it was a dragon. And so that was unexpected. And the dragon comes up, and we have a short conversation with it and then fight it. And the fight starts off, and it rolls lower than 3 of us on initiative, which is the order you go in. And so, am I really traveling? Oh, I am. I gotta travel through all this to get home. And so the wizard, our sorcerer, he went. My fighter rogue went, and then my cleric went. And when we ended, the dragon is 3 squares wide. Each of us is 1 square wide. My cleric was on the left side of that. My fighter was on the right side of that. And the sorcerer was behind the fighter. And so he says, the dragon, because it's a water-based dragon, the dragon exhales a cloud of scalding steam. All of you need to roll Constitution saves to see if you take full damage. And I'm like, okay. And then he says, because the dragon is breathing a 60-foot cone. And I'm like, that's not how cones work. And he's like, yeah, it's 60 feet. I'm like, yeah, but it's not 60 feet across at the dragon. It's 60 feet across at the far end of the breathing. A 60-foot cone, 60-foot cone is 60 foot across at the end of the triangle, not at the beginning of the triangle, which starts at its mouth. Which means it can get those 2 guys, or my cleric and your guy. And he's like, oh. And then he moves the dragon back. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, if I hadn't made a mistake, I would have done this before. And I would have just placed the dragon in the appropriate spot to be able to hit all of you. I'm like, what? Yeah, so go ahead and all of you roll Constitution now because you're all in range. So that was pretty irritating. The other guy got pretty irritated by it and was sending me messages about, here we go again, more of the same old ridiculousness where he just makes stuff up as we go because he's forgotten something or he wants to change it because we're not in enough danger for his taste. He did make comments again last night about how hard he's trying to kill us, but it's not working, and he doesn't like that. That we have too easy of a time surviving, and that he has been trying to kill us off for a while now. He made those statements, and so then we get to the end of the night, and he says, I'm like, ooh, how much XP did we get? And he's like, well, you killed the big thing in here, so you're going to get a lot of XP tonight. I'm like, oh, nice. I like XP. I like to go up levels and get new abilities. And now the last time we went up a level, he did this stupid thing where he just randomly decided we had to long rest before we could level up. And so he says, I think you guys are probably going to level tonight. I'm like, oh, cool, cool. And speaker. Oh, interesting. Drawbridge. Does it work? I gotta make this. I need springs and mechanical parts. And where are my mechanical parts? Holy crap! It takes 14 minutes to make. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. That's gonna be a while. Wow. And it took like all my springs. Interesting. I will be curious to see how that goes. And so we oh, it took like all my forged iron too. Do these work? I don't have enough forged iron. I think I had some of those, but I think I turned them into scrap. I want to make some more and see. Right? I don't have them over here, do I? No, but I do have 2 more fluorescent lights. Oop, wrong button. And so he says, just so you know, even if you get the XP, you can't level up until your long rest. And I'm like, what? Are we doing that again? Because that's not really a thing, and you never did it before that last level. Well, that's how we're doing it now. And I'm like, you're not supposed to change rules in the middle of the campaign, you know? He's like, I'm the DM, and if you don't like it, tough. That's what he said to me. What are you, a child at this point? Is there a reason we're not allowed to take our new levels? I mean, what difference does it make? I don't understand what difference it makes. You don't suddenly fill back up with health. You don't suddenly, gain all your spell slots back. It doesn't change anything unless your abilities are, like, passive abilities. Or even if they're active abilities, they don't fill up till a long rest for some of that stuff. So explain to me why we can't level up. It doesn't make any sense. Like if that was how we played beforehand, I'd been fine with that. But that's not how we had played all the way up to last level. We're approaching level 10 or 9, level 9. So 7 levels, almost a year of playing, we played a different way. And then out of the blue, and he won't tell us why, he doesn't want to do it that way anymore. And it's irritating, and he's like, oh, I gotta do it over here. Dang it. I was gonna make them myself, but I guess I've gotta do them at this table. So, yeah, I'm not gonna play with those tonight. Anyways, let me finish my story here. So, he says, so then he gives us XP, and we're at like 47,100 XP. So we need 900 more XP to go to our next level. And then he says this. After telling us tough, he's changing the rules however he wants, and he's the DM, so we have to like it. He then says, I'm going to do something nice for you guys. I don't have to, but I'm going to be nice. And here's here's the extra 900 XP, so go ahead and just set your XP to the 48,000 so that you have leveled, but until you take a long rest, you can't level up. So don't bother changing your sheets, which we already know screws up the sheets. We had that problem last time because they're using, not me, but they're using sheets that auto-level you when you type in the XP on things that will auto-level, and so because he's done this, it's going to screw up his sheet again. He's going to have to de-level and re-level himself to get access to his new abilities. And yeah, I don't understand. I'm doing this nice thing for you now, so you can go ahead and get your extra level XP, your extra XP to hit your level. But you're not going to be able to level up until after you finish the entire rest of the dungeon at this point. Which means we're going to get more than 900 XP anyway, so it's not a bonus anything. It's not a nice thing. It doesn't stop you from being super irritating and controlling for something that's not even a big deal. And I know it sounds like it's a big deal to me, but that's not my issue. My issue is that he keeps changing things that don't need to be changed, and then we never know what's going on. He moved the turtle. He moved the turtle after the fight had started, after we had done our things, and then he's like, oh, well, if I'd have known that, I would have positioned him differently. Well, that's your problem. Why? Do aloe vera not give you a full thing? That's not helpful. You can't use aloe vera then the way this just did. It didn't give me extra seeds. I picked up 2 plants. It gave me 2 plants of seeds back. Well, that's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. All right, well, I'm going to call it here. I guess I'll probably finish off planting this stuff before I quit. But yeah, next time I'm hoping to run through the entire night and see how that goes with my defenses in place. Although there might be a... Oh, those aren't my seeds. There might be a drawbridge in place next time. So, alright, with that, click like you like. Subscribe, be sure and catch the next one. And will you get in there? I will talk to you later.